Transformers Age of Extinction was painful. Was it as bad as Transformers 2? I honestly can't tell. I don't compare turds. Look at these two turds. Which one would you rather eat? This is the worst movie of the summer, even worse than Spider-Man 2, because Spider-Man 2 had, I don't know. I would just say that Spider-Man 2 tried harder and had more to offer than Transformers 4. Transformers 4 felt like a toy commercial. Basically, this movie has all the same problems as Transformers 2, but the thing is, Transformers 2 kind of had an excuse. It was made during the writer's strike, and when they started shooting the movie, they didn't even have a script. The movie was a production disaster.
Michael also had a couple of ideas that he really wanted to do that he thought would be funny. He liked the idea of that little remote control car.
Right. He really wanted the twins in the movie. Like
that was Michael's thing?
Absolutely. He's like, we're going to do the twins, you know, and that he was very, very clear about that.
Okay.
Yes, I think Michael felt very, very strongly that he wanted to throw everything into this movie. And so that posed a lot of challenges, and then we had to figure out ways to make it work structurally and character-wise, and that means that you're going to end up having to skimp on certain things and overload in other directions, but at the end of the day, you know, that's the soup he's making.
And that's why the movie came out so ass-tastic.
You're throwing those on us?
Yeah, kid. No, and then I'm gonna slap your ass with this towel.
Now there is no excuse for this shit. This movie had a script, and they just blew it. I have a feeling that if they actually had a script for Transformers 2 before they started shooting, it would have came out the exact same way. And while Spider-Man 2 had too much shit going on, this movie has too little going on. And yet, it is 3 hours long. But there is something so much more sinister going on here. This isn't just a bad movie. I don't just talk about bad movies, because there are plenty of bad movies out there. Sometimes the movies are just incompetent, but sometimes there is a conspiracy.
Dressed up like a werewolf, raping and killing children. And I bring this up because this is what all elites end up doing. Raping and killing children dressed up like a werewolf.
Not that Illuminati shit.
Raping 9-year-old girls at devil orgies and raping 5-year-old boys and devil worshipping and necrophilia and hanging out with the royal family.
More like producers who just care about money so they make a product. I don't review bad movies, I review products that pretend to be movies. Spider-Man 2 isn't a movie. This isn't a movie. This is a special effects reel that's made for China. How is it made for China? I'm gonna get into that shit. Here are the The plot. It all started at the beginning, when dinosaurs were around. Wait, what? From the first frame of the movie, I'm already confused. When did these Transformers show up? Let's go to the first movie. That was supposedly the first time Transformers ever appeared on Earth. They came there because the Allspark just happened to land on Earth. And so the Decepticons and the Autobots fought over that box. Then Sam Witwicky took the box and put it in Megatron's face and it blew him up. Now we get to the second movie. Transformers actually built shit into the pyramids or something. There was some laser that would destroy the Earth. Got it. So now we're supposed to believe that Transformers were around for much longer. And not only did Transformers just land on Earth and build lasers for some reason, but that a few hundred years later, some box that the Decepticons were looking for just happened to land on Earth. Alright, it's a little convoluted, but whatever. Then we get to the third movie, and we find out that Transformers landed on the moon. Hold on a second. So the box just happened to land on Earth, the Transformers just wanted to put lasers on Earth, and now a spaceship just landed on the moon right next to Earth. And then those Transformers who landed on the moon were just like, okay, we're gonna destroy Earth now. And then they want to build a giant laser on Earth. What's with all these guys who want to put lasers on Earth? So now I think this is convoluted as shit, but that's it, right? Nope! Now we find out that before the pyramids, before the moon, and before the fucking box landed on Earth, there were Transformers around during fucking dinosaur times.
I was in dinosaur times!
What? What? You were only gone for like 10 seconds.
Well, I spent a week in dinosaur times, okay? Like 5 days, 4 nights, like eating berries and fucking fighting dinosaurs.
Actually, technically, they weren't Transformers. They were the things who made Transformers. So these guys made Transformers, and they went to Earth because they needed organic material that they could make into Transformers or something. And how'd they do that? Stop with the lasers! Are we really the only planet with life in the entire universe?
Every galaxy I've traveled, all you species are the same. You all think you're the center of the universe. You have no idea.
Oh, so there are more planets. Then why does everyone bother Earth? It's just a coincidence, right? Are we the closest planet? Do we have the most resources? I mean, at this point, we already foiled all their plots 4 times over. Why would bad guys keep coming to Earth? Every time they try to conquer the world, they fail. There's gotta be a planet out there that's just populated by armadillos who can't do shit. Why don't you go to one of those planets and conquer that one? That'll do just fine. Let's go to the planet that's populated by intelligent life that has made countless numbers of weapons, tools, tanks, bombs. Let's conquer them. Let's not go to the armadillo planet. How far are we into this movie? Holy shit. So now we find out that people hate Transformers, including the Autobots. All the Autobots and Decepticons are lumped into the same category, and the military wants to kill them all. See, it's a comment on racism. Isn't this movie smart? Then Mark Wahlberg's just like in his house, and he finds a truck, and it's a Transformer. And he wants to keep it because
I need to know how it works. I'm an inventor. This could be a game changer for me. If I can apply that technology to my inventions, we never have to worry about money again.
Okay, so then there's this company that took all the metal from the Transformers they killed, and they want to make Transformers and other, like, bionic Transformers, help the government. They're not Transformers. They're like kind of Transformers. They're the Transformers who made the Transformers. I call them bionic Transformers. So what the bionic Transformers want is they want Optimus Prime. So in exchange for Optimus Prime, the bionic Transformers are gonna give the government something called the seed, because it's like a seed. And what the seed does is it's used to create Transformers, so that's what they want, so that the company that makes the Transformers can use the seed to make Transformers, even though they already figured out how to make Transformers and they don't need them. I don't think I've said Transformers more in my life. Transformers, Transformers, Transformers. But then the problem is that all the Transformers they made have a little bit of Megatron in all of them, so they use the brain of Megatron and other Decepticons to make the Transformers. So now the Transformers are like kind of bad, and they start having like a mind of their own, and they start killing innocent people. So they figured that the only way they could take out Transformers is to make Transformers of their own. But that doesn't make any sense. How are people supposed to tell between the real Transformers and the fake Transformers? How is the military supposed to tell? Why do you need to upload the mind of Megatron into all the Transformers that you made? Can't you just have someone control them? If you can control something with a remote, then it doesn't need a brain. Your television remote doesn't have a fucking brain because you control it. Your car doesn't have a brain. You control it. If you want to control what the Transformer does, then why do you give it a brain of its own? And it's not like a CPU chip or anything. It's literally a brain. A metal brain. So now the Autobots want the seed because they know the seed will make the world dead. So they team up with dinosaurs. This scene doesn't make sense. It's just here so that we can see Optimus Prime ride a T-Rex, so that they could put it in the trailer. And all you dummies in the theater can go, oh, that looks so cool. Optimus Prime is riding a Dinobot. I gotta see this movie. It's gonna be different this time. Don't you love it how every Transformer trailer makes it look like it's gonna be good? Like, you saw the trailer to Transformers 2, and you're gonna be like, oh, this looks dark. It's gonna be awesome. And then you saw the movie and it sucked. But then you saw the trailer to Transformers 3 and it was all awesome again. And you're like, okay, they fixed it. This movie's gonna be awesome. And then you walked into the theater and it was the same shit. And now it's the 4th time around and you're like, okay, all these movies are the same shit. But then you see Optimus Prime looks all different, and there's like a Japanese robot, and now there's dinosaurs, and you're like, oh, this looks different. I'll go see it. And then you walked into the movie, and you're like, well, you know what happened. The script. This is nonsense. I was trying to find some kind of logic to this movie, and there is none.
The movies nowadays, that's the trouble. Sequels and remakes, bunch of crap.
Oh, isn't that so meta? Haha. Haha. Fuck yeah! This is the witty humor I've come to expect from these movies.
You know, folks used to come from miles around to see the dancing girls with the big cha-chas.
Swear to God, I am one diaper change away from poisoning his oatmeal.
What a great joke.
It's protein.
Look, I said the essentials, okay?
It was an easy, you almost got caught.
You stole mouthwash?
I like to be fresh when I'm making out with your daughter.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's not happening. Ever.
Ever?
Well, that was pointless. But what about some of the cliche stuff? Oh, of course. We can't have an action movie without the standard text on the bottom of the screen that tells us where we are. Can we please have an action movie that doesn't have text on the bottom of the screen telling us where we are?
We're then informed through standard action movie font that we're in London. You know, just because it's the standard in these types of movies to inform the audience members where they are on the globe using that exact same font, doesn't mean that you should do it, especially if a character is going to mention the location within a minute of using the title anyway.
Is headed to his factory in Guangzhou, China.
Oh hey, it's that really cool font that I've never seen before that shows up one letter at a time making this exact noise.
Did you see that movie Olympus Has Fallen? There are a bunch of scenes where he's in the White House, and every time he walks into a room, they have to tell us what room it is. We know it's the Oval Office! I thought we were in Hawaii!
We've intercepted encrypted communications. Joshua Joyce is headed to his factory in Guangzhou, China.
Wait, say that again?
Joshua Joyce is headed to his factory in Guangzhou, China.
Okay, now go back. It said Beijing.
Joshua Joyce is headed to his factory in Guangzhou, China.
No, but they're in Beijing. This character says
Joshua Joyce is headed to his factory in Guangzhou, China.
But he's really in Beijing. Did the writers fuck this up? He's in Beijing. He's not where this robot said he was.
Headed to his factory
No,
in
he's
Guangzhou,
not.
China.
One of you was wrong. Now there's gonna be one asshole who says, well, maybe the airport was in Beijing and he drove over to
Guangzhou, China.
Alright, well, if that's the case, then what is the point of this scene? If you are arriving somewhere and it says Beijing on the bottom of the screen, I assume that in the following scene, he'll still be in Beijing. Otherwise, what was the point of this? I even turned on the subtitles to make sure.
In Guangzhou, China.
He didn't say Beijing. This character is in Beijing. Also, throughout this entire movie, every single time we change locations, there is text at the bottom of the screen that says so. Are you telling me in this one instance, they just forgot?
It's what they're made of.
It's the Holy Grail. Transformium. Transformium.
Transformium? That kind of makes me want to slip my wrists. Picture yourself as a Hollywood writer. You have to name the metal that the Transformers are made of. What would you do? The first thing that comes to mind is Transformium. And that's what they literally put on paper. There is a full-grown man, an intelligent, wealthy Hollywood writer, who wrote that down on paper and said, yep, that's good.
The story's about origins and creation, and so immediately we wanted to go very primeval and deal with the origins of Earth and the origins of the Transformers, and that involves dinosaurs for us, and so we wanted to make it such, the backstory such that it involved Dinobots for them.
The actors can't even make it sound good.
I need more Transformium, and I need it now.
It's my money and I need it now. It's my money and I need it now. Shut the fuck up!
Daniel Day-Lewis cannot deliver that line and make it sound good. Speaking of acting, the acting. How these actors were picked is beyond me. This is a big movie, and if you're going to cast, you should cast pretty selectively. But we all know why these actors were picked. Yeah, Mr. Supermodel #1, Mrs. Supermodel #1, Mark Wahlberg, and that guy from Cloverfield who never shut the hell up.
Jesus Christ, I'm sorry. Oh God. Are you guys seeing this shit right now?
Go, 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 go,
go! Oh shit. Oh my God. Oh my God. Are you guys seeing this right now? Are you seeing this right now? Look, look, look. Yeah, yeah, that's the shit right there.
Shut up! This is the cast that makes up this movie. They cannot act worth a shit.
Or write a program, or French braid your hair, or throw a spiral. Me, that's what I do.
Who taught you how to cook without ketchup or balance your checkbook? Who always has to be the grown-up around here?
All right, you got a point, okay? But that means we're a great team. And I know it's been sucky around here lately, but we're gonna be fine, sweetie. You just gotta keep believing, okay? I mean, that's what great inventors do. I promise you, one day, I'm gonna build something that matters.
I believe you, Dad.
I feel really bad for Mark Wahlberg because he's trying really hard. Actually, no, he's not. Mark Wahlberg clearly just did this for a paycheck. I know we all make fun of Marky Mark, but he's actually a very good actor. It just depends on what director he works with. I've seen him be great in some things. The problem with this product is that he didn't have a character to play. Generic white male was his character, and they said, go. Every time he tried to do something a little bit kooky or add some personality to the character he was playing, Michael Bay probably told him, tone it down a little. We don't want to give you too much personality. We have to make screen time for the Transformers. Just look at your daughter nervously sometimes, and then kind of yell sometimes, and then run. That's what we want you to do. You're a prop. You're not a character.
Well, he's a movie star. He's he gave it a real gravitas. I don't know. He's just he really grounds a movie.
This girl's another prop, clearly just there because she's hot. Michael Bay, like, she's 17 years old. She's my age. Can you not shoot her like you're shooting a porno? Not only are you a fucking pervert, you're a borderline pedophile.
I want to do more of a father-daughter story. And that way, it's a backdoor into the kids in terms of you.
And there's this douchebag who pops up about halfway through the movie. He's given nothing to do except look handsome and make Mark Wahlberg nervous a little. It's kind of baffling, actually, because this guy from Cloverfield's in the movie until this character shows up, and then right after this character shows up, this guy dies. They just needed him there for comedic relief for the first 40 minutes or so. And then once we got the generic boyfriend character into the movie, just kill him off. That's a sign of how great your writing is, when characters can just be swapped out for each other. How about you write a story that involves Mark Wahlberg going through his midlife crisis, and his daughter's telling him to give it up or something, and he's like, no, I gotta work. I gotta build, because I gotta create something. I gotta make something of myself. And then he gets thrusted into this adventure, and he's like, oh, I can make something of myself now. I can finally make a difference in the world. And his daughter's telling him to stop, and he goes no. And this eventually gets his daughter in trouble. And he realizes how he made a mistake, how he put himself before his daughter, and he teams up with the Transformers to rescue her. That's a pretty good plot. Just involve the two of them. It could be a father-daughter movie. It could be kind of touching. Not touching like that, Michael Bay, god damn it! But we can't have that. We need generic white male, and generic white male number 2. And generic white girl, and all three of them must be in an adventure. But there is no room for a third generic white male. So we get rid of the second generic white male and replace him with the third generic white male. Now we have 3 generic white people with 3 generic white villains trying to kill them. These aren't characters, they are props. If you ask me, I like Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox much better. Shia LaBeouf had some personality in that one. He was kind of a loner, he was a shy guy, he liked a girl way out of his league, he was nerdy, then he finds out he was destined for greatness, and he takes on this task to help the Transformers and save the world. Do something much bigger than himself. And along the way, he wants to impress the girl that he likes. And at the end of the movie, he saves the day. That's something. What does generic white male number 1 do? He shoots at aliens with a sword. What is that? Why do Transformers have swords that are that small?
And working with Michael, you know, it's always an opportunity for me to learn and grow as an actor.
Transformers. I understand that these things are basically just toys, and that there's no real logic to any of them. You could basically do whatever the hell you want, depending on the movie. But there's gotta be some logic. I understand it's just a stupid movie, but can we try to have a little bit of continuity? Why does he need a mask? Can he not breathe underwater? He's a robot. They have blood now? Just look at this shit. I've been trying to make sense out of this. In the first movie, they had like sparks. Whenever one of them got hit or something, there was like a little bit of blue spark that came out of them. To me, that was kind of like blood. I'm like, all right, I got it. In the second movie, they added way more sparks, so it was more noticeable and violent. Okay, that's fine. It still sparks, at least. In the third movie, they added all kinds of liquid and steam and shit whenever someone got killed, along with the sparks. Now there's like this red liquid that came out of him that looks like blood. Since when did they have that? And when Megatron died, there was like steam that came out of him. Holy shit, that's so violent. But now in this movie, they have green blood. Can you make up your mind? Do they have blood? Do they just have sparks? Is their blood red or green? Does steam come out of them? Make up your mind! Oh look, Optimus Prime can fly now. It's not like they ever needed that throughout the rest of the movie. Just in the last 5 minutes, Optimus Prime can suddenly fly. Is it like a power-up? Like you have to kill a certain number of bad guys to access that power?
Yeah, that's good, B. That'll get us in.
What? The novelty of the Transformers has worn off. It was kind of cool the first time, seeing all that metal transform into planes and cars and shit. That movie was made in 2007. We are now in the year 2014. This shit isn't cool anymore. We've seen it dozens of times at this point. Do people really pay $12 to walk into a theater just to see robots fighting each other and transforming? Is it that cool? Well, guess what, moviegoers? They are barely in this movie. Despite the movie being 3 hours long, the Transformers maybe have a screen time of about, I'll be generous and say 30 minutes. Most of the time, they aren't even doing anything. They're just kind of sitting around a circle and talking to each other. Nothing is more engaging than watching two hunks of metal talk to each other. It's like watching rocks. At some point, I guess they realized how boring these scenes were, and they gave the Transformers an excuse to fight each other.
He's but a flower in the winds of fear and temptation.
What the hell are you saying?
It's a haiku.
Cut the crap before I drop a grenade down your throat. So who's the stowaway? He's right.
Smartass.
What's the matter with them?
At this point, all the Transformers we liked from the last movies are gone. I don't even know who these new guys are. I remember all the old ones. Ironhide, Jazz, Ratchet, Optimus Prime, Bumblebee. Now we have guy with the beard, the Japanese samurai guy, this guy with the parachute. And at this point, they aren't all noble and brave anymore. They're all a bunch of dumbasses with a short temper.
They slaughtered Ratchet! I'm gonna tear them apart!
Yeah, guys, let's go kill them all. That's what I want my heroes to do. Destroy property. Way to prove the government wrong, guys. The government's going, the Transformers are a threat, and the Transformers are like, no, we're not. We'll show you.
The Autobots, they're so good, you know, and there's a lot of bad in the world, and it's like they're always doing the right thing.
Destroy it all!
No matter if it hurts them, harms them, they're always doing good. And I think people like that.